Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Jen,
I'm Kimberly.
and this is that Vegan Morning Show.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, Kimberly. How are you on this snowy morning?
I am good. I am tired like always, but I am good. How about you?
I'm also good, and I had to quickly move into the kitchen, so we have a live studio audience today.
So any clapping that the viewers hear, that is
And it
courtesy
should
of
be
that live
clapping.
studio audience.
Yeah. Oh, I hope my computer's freezing. Oh no, it stopped. Okay, good. Hopefully it doesn't kick me off.
Yeah, you're good so far.
So, Kimberly, we have a big topic to talk about.
We do. Yeah. You brought both of these to my attention, so I really appreciate that. Um,
Oh, I'm back.
yes, you are.
Oh no, I hope it's not my computer. I'm gonna have to figure this out sometime.
But yeah, you brought this to my attention. I'm really glad that you did because I hadn't heard about this. This article that you had shared was from December, so um, recent enough. And why don't you tell us what we're talking about today?
Yes, absolutely. So there was an article that came out about, and I had the link a moment ago, but then I clicked off of it because of sorry, my technical issues here. But
Oh,
yeah, so
okay.
the UK is making a move to ban boiling lobsters, shrimp, crabs, and langoustines, which I'm gonna look up because I don't even know what a langoustine is. Do you, Kimberly?
I don't, but let me look it up real quick. I meant to do the
Okay.
same thing.
So because they're recognizing their capacity for pain. And so the measure is going to be implemented by 2030 because it takes time to put in and at first I thought that sounded like a long time ago and then a long time from now, and then I realized, wait a minute, this is 2026.
Yeah, it is.
Meanwhile, I'm thinking 2030 is 10 years from now. No.
No.
It would also apply to crustaceans and cephalopod mollusks, including octopuses, of all which are recognized as sentient beings under British law. So, also adding another important point to that, the legislation follows publication of a comprehensive report by the London School of Economics in November of 2021, which demonstrated that both crustaceans and mollusks possess nociceptors. It's nocicptors, so nociceptors, um, endings that detect extreme temperatures and mechanical injuries, such as like tearing.
Mm.
So, first of all, I was very excited to see that there's this acknowledgement
Mhm.
of that they can feel pain. But then I'm like, also like, but why is it only being acknowledged here?
Right. Also, a langoustine is they're related to lobsters. They're
Okay.
small cold water crustaceans. Yep.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good to know. Um, yeah, I was really excited about this because I don't know about you, Kimberly, but like, and but as most vegans, it's tough walking around by the lobster tank.
Yeah.
Um, Whenever I see lobsters in a tank and I have to walk by them in the grocery store, I just send them like loving vibes
Mhm. Yeah.
because I just I just feel really sad seeing them confined in that space. They're just kind of waiting
Mhm.
around for
Yeah.
the inevitable to happen. And it's a shame that anything needs to be killed to be consumed. But boiling alive just it just sounds horrific. And it really excited me when I saw this article because it feels like another step in creating that awareness for
Mhm.
people, right?
Yeah.
We've had this conversation before about the aquariums at Dark Hobby, documentary that we spoke about in great detail a few months ago. And people assume that because creatures don't communicate the way we do, that they don't feel anything, right? But what we talked about in that from that documentary is they do have a language. They communicate in ways that they understand with one another.
Yeah.
And they have their own little culture, right? And but again, right, humans have this tendency of, oh, it's not like me, so therefore I'm superior to it.
Right.
So that's a little bit about that article and just some of the thoughts that I had around it. What are your thoughts, Kimberly?
Yeah, so I have a lot of them.
As you should.
And like that might sound like a dig, but it's totally not. Because I do always have a lot of thoughts about a lot of things. But yeah, so I am, of course, glad that another group of animals is being acknowledged as being able to feel pain, being sentient, and afforded some level of respect that way. Raising an awareness for people who might understand more easily that cows, pigs, chickens are also sentient beings and feel pain. They might already know that, but there has for so long been this thought around sea life and that any animal who lives in water, especially those who have hard shells that maybe some people might equate to like what they would see as insects on land, not making a connection that these animals do have, like you were saying, these full lives, these cultures within their groups and their ability to communicate with each other and live in a way where they are also they feel pain so that they can escape danger. And so I am very glad that that is being acknowledged. However, when I was reading the article and I was like, okay, yeah, you're going to ban boiling these animals alive. So what's the answer? What are they like? Why are we not saying don't eat them? The answer, of course, is not let's not kill them. The answer is kill them a different way. And I found that to be really disappointing, although not surprising because we still are so much in a world where people are like, you can't live without consuming animals. And it's just the way it is. And it's just too bad that, they're in the position where we're able to take their lives and eat their bodies. And of course they don't word it like that, but that's exactly what's happening. And and so I was really sad to see, and like I said, though, not surprised that it's just like, we're not going to let you boil them alive anymore, but you can still kill them and eat them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did some more research, and what they're suggesting is that you stun them with an electric gun. So like, where does that come from? Do like restaurants and grocery stores need to have one of these on hand now?
Yeah.
It says stun them with an electric gun, then chill them in cold air or on ice, as that is more humane.
Oh, see,
Right?
I did not get that in my research.
Yikes.
Yeah. And again, we've had this conversation before where if you need to kill it, do we really need to eat it?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And
because none of it is really humane. Maybe there's some ways or there's less suffering than others, but again, as we've talked about extensively, these animals, they don't have a choice in being able to live the full lives that they would like to live. It's just being
Mhm.
determined for them. And, I've mentioned before about Howie the crab. Howie the crab is was the pet of Laura Porter, and she's on TikTok and posts on Facebook, and she brought a lot of awareness. So Howie the crab was a crab that started, I think it was like her daughter's pet. And originally they thought it was a male crab, hence the name Howie. Then they realized Howie was actually a girl. But they kept the name Howie. And Howie was able to do signing for things. When Howie wanted food, for example, very interactive. And
Mhm.
I have a Howie the crab plushie here. Um,
Very cute.
that she did. So she put on hats, and Howie lived, there was always a malting season. So whenever Howie would have a molt, there was like this whole molt watch. And Howie did not survive was about to molt and didn't survive for it. But crabs live around 5 years. Howie lived to the age of like 9.
Wow.
So Laura gave Howie this longer life, and through it brought a lot of awareness to crabs, how they're very smart. And she spoke out against boiling
Mhm.
crabs and lobsters, and did a lot of talks, creating awareness how they can feel pain. And through her work with Howie, showed how smart they are. But she does still promote, humane spiking,
Mm.
um, which again, that doesn't sound very fun either.
Right.
But so even though her work is 100% perfect, I do appreciate, again, kind of like what this UK um, ban is, it's creating that like next level of awareness, right? And so we live in a non-vegan world, and obviously vegans would like things to be much different than they are, but I feel like any step that creates that awareness. And I just wanted to share something real quick. So I went on Reddit talked about when Howie died a year ago, and now she has another crab now named Winnie, which she didn't expect to take on another crab so quickly. But
Mhm.
what happened was there was some people in the crab trade who acquired Winnie, and she had shell rot. And instead of just disposing of her, they reached out to Laura, who
Mm.
took Winnie, and who I've been watching this journey in full, traumatized, afraid, starting to take on the qualities that Howie did, being able
Mm.
to communicate needs, being interactive and cuddling and just playing and all of these different things. So there's a really important place for that kind of work. But one of the when Howie the crab died, and on Reddit, uh, someone commented, "Getting absolutely upset over a damn crab, especially when there are other things to worry about, wasn't on my 2025 bingo card. But the way her mother loved Howie just broke me." Right. So that was one of the comments that I wanted to share. Right. Because it's like this person's like, how am I getting upset over a crab?
Mhm.
Right. It's like
Yeah.
they're kind of shaming themselves
Right.
over having that experience.
Mhm.
And so that's why I wanted to talk about Howie for a minute, because it connects into this realization that these animals do have feelings, and maybe they're not just some stupid, you know, creature that, doesn't know what's going on in its life for
Mhm.
humans to be able to determine what to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah. It does still baffle me that people can live with animals and then still eat others of that same animal. So, like here where I live, a lot of people have backyard chickens,
Yeah.
and they name them, they cuddle with them, they talk about how smart their chickens are. And even if they don't eat those chickens, because some of them don't eat their own chickens, you know,
Mhm.
they will still go to the store and buy chicken and then cook it. And then I think about that as like the chicken in the backyard and like a window being open while the person is cooking another chicken's body. And like, do they know that? And like, there's a farm that I drive by. Farm. It's like it looks like a feedlot, which is crazy because like where I live, like that space is not really available, but it's always very muddy and like meh. And
Mhm.
they have cows there. And I remember driving by one day and I noticed they had a grill on the front lawn. And I remember having that same thought that like they're probably grilling things like steaks and burgers while cows are right there.
Yeah.
And it just like broke my heart to think like, do they know? Can they tell that's the flesh of one of their own?
Yeah.
And then too, like, so people raising animals as commodities, they have hundreds of them. Okay, they're not making the same connections. But like somebody raising a crab, showing the world, look at what she's capable of. Look at this relationship we've built because I was open enough to hear her, to see her
Mhm.
as her own person and being and respect her. And then to talk about, by the way, here's the best way to kill them when you're going to eat them.
Yeah.
And I just like, I really, I do appreciate that people who share these stories, they do have an impact on people because like you said, somebody, and that person commenting on Reddit was certainly not the only person commenting. Lots of people felt heartbroken over
Mhm.
Howie's death and probably felt like what the you know, because they're like, why am I feeling this way? But it's because they
Exactly.
saw her for who she was. And
Mhm.
if we could just take that and apply that to all of those beings,
Mhm.
you know, like maybe we could stop eating them and we don't need to worry about banning boiling them alive because we're not going to be killing them for food anyway. I don't know. That's my hope and dream, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like, right, there's a lot of steps and stages to change.
Mhm.
And while you know, Laura's work isn't 100%, perfect,
Mhm.
or these measures that are being taken, um, aren't 100% perfect. Again, it's creating that awareness and having people think about things that maybe they weren't thinking about before,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Who knows how many people who followed Howie the Crab just couldn't, eat
Right.
crab anymore, right? Because of that.
Mhm.
So, you never know what plants a seed for
Yeah.
people. Um, and it's better than nothing, right? Because
Mhm.
these things were not a thing before. And I feel like, and especially like, how we've talked about how like veganism is getting like negative press at times with like
Mhm.
restaurants and other, or influencers switching teams all of a sudden and now they're, carnivores again.
Mhm.
Um, it's still a conversation that's so much more mainstream than we used to have.
Right.
And I feel like at least veganism, awareness, all of that is challenging the status quo. And when you challenge the status quo, it's challenging.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right, because right, one of the common arguments is, well, that's the way it's always been,
Right.
right, or that's just how we do it. And I feel like this is a good transition to the other topic we were going to talk
Mhm.
about. But before I transition to that, was there anything else you wanted to touch on with this?
No, no, we can move on.
Okay. So the other article that I came across around the same time we were talking about doing this was was about the Japan vegan tuna boom. And I was like,
Mhm.
huh, that's interesting. So there's a combination of environmental concerns, including rising seafood prices, conversations about food systems, and securing, creating a space for alternative products, and rising flexitarianism. So all these different things have created this boom in the use of vegan tuna.
Mhm.
And so there's been, and what the article also talked about was that the buyer preferences, as long as it's the flavors and the textures can mimic, can work well with soy sauce and other Japanese staples, as long as
Mhm.
there's ways that it can incorporate well with the traditional dishes, people are
Well, I think that's really cool.
sorry, I
And
froze there.
yeah,
I don't know what
it's okay.
my computer hates StreamYard apparently. So I'm sorry.
It's all good. I think
Yeah.
it's exciting. Yeah, I'm sorry, were you
No, I didn't have anything else more to say. No.
um, and I know that transitional foods are really helpful for people too. So even people who like whether you already think like you'd like to stop consuming sea life or you just are like, and because you're on a vegan journey maybe, or maybe like this article said, like people are just seeking more interesting options. They're seeking things that are either less damaging to the environment or less damaging to their health. Like there's so many things about levels of mercury and tuna and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
how dangerous it can be for people at certain stages of their lives to even consume it. And so seeking out and having really great options is always good, I think. So yeah, but I also just love sushi made from plants, like
Mhm.
actual plants, not like made into tuna. Although, like, I've never had it, but I've seen it where chefs will make like tuna out of tomato,
Mhm.
and when they lay it over the little thing of rice, like sashimi, I think it's called, it looks, and they wrap a little bit of the seaweed around it. Like it looks just like what I've seen in photos of like the tuna sashimi. And so, yeah, like this idea that we can recreate these textures, whether it is like a vegan tuna or whether we're using vegetables. And like there's so many interesting sushi rolls that I've had since I never ate sushi before I went vegan.
Oh,
Just was
interesting.
not I was not into sea life at all that way. I would eat tuna fish from a can with like mayo on toast here and there, but like I never had sushi. And then once I was vegetarian, then I was more willing to explore it because I was not interested in raw fish and stuff like that. And so to
Yeah.
discover these options, like something even as simple as an avocado cucumber roll. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness. The like freshness and crispiness of the cucumber and that creaminess of the avocado. Oh, it's like such a perfect combo with the rice and the sea. Then you put it in like I like to put a lot of wasabi in my soy sauce. I like it super spicy with a big old hunk of ginger on top. And
Mm.
just all of those textures and flavors, it's so interesting. And it's so simple. And
Yeah.
like, so I do love that there are these different like vegan products that also are mimicking these animal-based foods, but there's also a really exciting world of vegetables within like sushi and stuff like that I would love to encourage people to explore. So now I'm very hungry and wish I could have sushi for lunch, but with the snowstorm, we're not going anywhere or getting delivery of anything.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, right? Have you been to Beyond Sushi in New
No.
York City?
Mm.
So
No.
when I worked in Midtown, I worked maybe like a 10-15 minute walk there, and I've been there a few times, and I had coworkers who are not vegan who loved it.
Mm.
And one of my coworkers was allergic to seafood, so it was like perfect for him. But my my non-vegan coworkers loved that place because it was all this
Yeah.
like creative use of vegetables. I
Mhm.
remember there was this mushroom sushi I would get there that was so good.
Mm.
And what made it good? The way things were cooked and the season, right? The flavorful
Mhm.
sauces. And
Right.
that's really what it is when it comes to our food,
Yeah.
is we're attracted to the textures and the flavors. When we went to Hawaii about a year ago now, actually, there was a vegan food truck 5 minutes from our hotel, and they had these vegan fish tacos that were tasted better to me than when I had like fish tacos years ago with fish.
Mhm.
And I think it was like it tasted like the Gardein like fish fillets, but they
Mhm.
put it in like soft taco shells, like the corn tortillas, and they had like this like coleslaw and other flavorful stuff on there. And these things are so good. Like I had it like 2 days in a row. I was like, because it was the other stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And when after we left Hawaii, I bought a cookbook about with vegan Hawaiian food, and poke is very popular there. And there's a recipe, I haven't tried it yet, but this is like inspiring me to like do a video on vegan seafood. But there's a recipe where you take watermelon and you can put it in your oven to like roast it with a flavorful sauce to give it that,
Mm.
like, apparently when you do this with watermelon, it takes on like the texture of like cubed salmon or tuna.
Okay.
um and so again, if we can do these things with I cut out again. Oh, I don't know. Did
Yep,
it
you're back.
I'm back. Yay.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we can do these things with plants, it's much more
Mhm.
sustainable to the environment. You're
Yeah.
not harming anything, and you're being kinder to your body because plant foods, things that grow instead of things that we're living, or beings that
Mhm.
we're living.
Mhm.
Um, it's just a win-win all around. So if we don't need animals to enjoy the same foods and flavors that we love, then why not just go there?
Exactly. Yeah. You mentioned the Gardein fish fillets. JP loves them because, JP's family is from Ireland, and
Mhm.
he spent some time there as a child and then also lived in England as a child. So he has very fond memories of like fish and chips.
Mhm.
And being vegan, he wasn't, finding anything that kind of like hit that craving for him. And when he tried those, so now he doesn't have it often, but occasionally he'll get those from the store, and he'll get like steak fries, and he'll make them and cover them with like the malt vinegar and stuff. And he said, it hits all the marks, and it's just as satisfying, and he really enjoys it. And so now he can have all those memories come flooding back when he eats it, and he's not harming anyone. Yeah.
I so badly want those Guardian fish fillets right now. I have made like a fried fish sandwich. I used to, like, eons ago, again, pre-vegan, I used to like the McDonald's fish fillet sandwiches. And I have done my own version of that with the Gardein fish fillets,
Nice.
and it's the same thing. But again, nothing died for it. So,
Right.
yeah, and another quick story on this before we wrap up. A while back, when we were still working in the office pre-COVID, we did a holiday party in the office where everyone just brought in different things. We had a potluck and it was a lot of fun. And one of my coworkers had a friend who was a vegan chef. And so knowing that I was vegan, she said that she would make these vegan crab cakes that were just out of this world. So she brought in this tray of vegan crab cakes and everyone loved them. I was the only vegan there. I enjoyed it. I never even had a crab cake at all. And so I wouldn't even know what they tasted like prior, but it was good. And I was looking at all the non-vegans, going, digging into them. And, again, I feel like that's just another example of have these things and nobody has to die for it.
Right. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I need to do an episode now on vegan seafood.
Yeah, there you go.
Or maybe that's something we can do together.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
It would be fun. Yeah, but I can't believe we've been talking about this for a little over 30 minutes now. So
yeah,
good discussion as always.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Any other thoughts you wanted to add on this topic before we wrap up?
No, I just, want to encourage people to explore, vegan options and do some research and understand why why we talk about these topics, why it matters and what it means, to be vegan and to the world as a whole. That's all. Simple.
Sounds good. Well, is there anything you want to promote for Did You Bring the Hummus?
I would love to. There's a new episode out today with philosopher and professor John Sanbonmatsu. And he wrote this book, The Omnivore's Deception.
Oh.
And it's phenomenal. And the interview is really fun. And we go some places that, are really interesting. And it was just a really good time. And I'm really glad for people to hear it. Yeah. So that's available wherever you get your podcasts.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to listening to it. Yeah, me. So I recorded another Cooking with the Confident Vegan with Dr. Patricia Thompson, known also as Dr. T. We've had her as a guest before on that Vegan Morning Show, and I've had her on the Confident Vegan as well. We have a deep dive on the topic of perimenopause, which is
nice,
dear to my heart. And she talks about in depth what goes on in our body during perimenopause and menopause. And we talk about foods that can help. And she makes this recipe that looked delicious called Marry Me Chickpeas and talks about how the ingredients in it are beneficial. And I make a very simple recipe, but it's helped me get a better sleep of this warm soy milk drink that I make that has helped me get a couple more hours of sleep a night than before I was drinking it. So anyway, that's going to be out on Wednesday.
Awesome. Good stuff. I'm excited to check that out.
Yeah.
It's a topic that's important to me too.
Got to find the time to do all the things. You keep finding good books and it's like and yeah, so yeah, I got to catch up with all your stuff, but yeah, looking forward to listening and looking forward to hanging out with you again next Monday to talk about another insightful topic.
Sounds good. I can't wait.
Same. All right, everyone. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye.